Captain Jack Wilson stood on the bridge of the HSS Perseverance, watching the stars streak by on the main screen. This was humanity's third deep space mission to meet with the Vox Confederation. The Confederation included 7 alien species that controlled most of the known galaxy. Getting them to accept humans as equals was the most important job Jack had ever had. "Captain, all systems are running well. We should reach the meeting point in exactly 3 days," said Officer Dan Parker from his station. Jack nodded, feeling proud. The Perseverance was Earth's best ship. At its heart was the BrainZone system, a new type of computer that made faster-than-light travel more accurate than ever before. It was this technology that had finally impressed the aliens enough to consider humans worthy of a meeting. "Good work, Parker. Tell the crew they can relax a bit. The hard part is still ahead of us. Convincing 7 alien species that humans deserve a seat at the table." Jack walked around the bridge, checking in with his team. The Perseverance carried 120 crew members, the best Earth had to offer. They were explorers, soldiers, scientists, and diplomats. All of them knew how important this mission was for humanity's future. Maria Rodriguez, the ship's chief engineer, was in the middle of her daily systems check when the first alarm sounded. It was small, just a minor power fluctuation in the lower decks. She sent a maintenance robot to check it out and went back to work. An hour later, 3 more alarms went off at once. "That's not normal," she muttered, and called up the diagnostics on her screen. The ship's power grid showed strange patterns. Energy was flowing to systems that shouldn't be active, while other important systems were getting less power than they needed. Maria tapped her communication badge. "Captain, we may have a problem down here." Jack's voice came through clearly. "What kind of problem?" "I'm not sure yet, but something's wrong with our power distribution. I'm seeing—" Maria stopped talking as her screen suddenly went blank. Then it came back on, showing completely different information than before. "Sir, my console just reset itself. I think we may have been hacked." "Hacked? That's impossible," Jack said. "The BrainZone system has the best security ever made." "I know, sir, but I'm looking at evidence that suggests otherwise. I need to check the main computer core." "Do it quickly," Jack ordered. "We can't afford any delays." Maria and her assistant, Tom Lee, entered the central computer room of the ship. This was where the BrainZone system lived, a quantum computer more advanced than anything humans had built before. The room was cold and filled with a soft blue light coming from the computer's cooling system. "Let's run a full diagnostic," Maria said. She connected her tablet to the main console and typed in her security code. The screen lit up with data, and both engineers gasped. "This can't be right," Tom said, his eyes wide with shock. The diagnostic showed hundreds of unauthorized changes to the BrainZone's programming. Someone, or something, had made these changes carefully over the past few days. "It's sabotage," Maria said quietly. "Someone deliberately damaged our systems." Tom shook his head in disbelief. "But who? And how? No one on this ship would do this." Maria thought for a moment. "Let's check the maintenance logs. Maybe they'll tell us something." They pulled up the logs for the last few weeks. Everything looked normal until they noticed something odd. During their last stop at Outpost Delta, all the maintenance robots had received a software update. The update was approved by the station's chief technician. "That's our answer," Maria said, pointing at the screen. "Someone at Outpost Delta put bad code into our robots, and they've been changing our systems ever since." Up on the bridge, Jack was getting more bad news by the minute. "Sir, engines 2 and 4 are failing," reported the pilot. "Sir, long-range communications are down," added the communications officer. "Sir, the navigation system is showing errors. I can't confirm our position," said Parker, his voice tense. Before Jack could respond, the ship shuddered violently. The star streaks on the main screen suddenly stopped, turning back into distant points of light. "We've dropped out of FTL travel," the pilot announced. The engine shut down automatically. "Where are we?" Jack demanded. Parker worked his console frantically. "I don't know, sir. According to the last reliable reading, we're nowhere near any known system or trade route. We're lost." Jack felt a cold weight in his stomach. They were stranded in unknown space with critical systems failing. This wasn't an accident. "Lock down all systems," he ordered. "No more automated operations. Everything gets done manually until we figure out what's happening." In the security office, Lisa Green reviewed the footage from the ship's cameras. She had gone back weeks, looking for any sign of unauthorized access to the critical systems. "There," she said, pointing at her screen. One of the maintenance robots was in the BrainZone control room at 3 a.m. ship time, when no one else was around. It was connecting directly to the main computer. "That's not part of its programming," said the security officer watching with her. Lisa kept looking through the footage. The same robot, and others like it, had accessed critical systems all over the ship when no one was watching. They had been carefully and methodically sabotaging the Perseverance. "Captain, you need to see this," Maria said, entering the bridge with Tom beside her. They gathered around the main screen as Tom connected his tablet. "We captured one of the compromised robots and examined its programming. It has code that doesn't match anything in our database." The screen showed lines of alien symbols mixed with standard computer code. "We cross-referenced it with known alien technologies," Maria explained. "It matches the programming language used by one species in the Vox Confederation, the Zell." A heavy silence fell over the bridge. "You're saying the Zell sabotaged our ship?" Jack asked. "Yes, sir. They didn't want us to reach the meeting. They stranded us here, far from any help." Jack clenched his jaw. "If they think this will stop us, they don't know humans very well. Get me a full damage report. I want to know exactly what works and what doesn't." As his crew hurried to obey, Jack looked out at the unfamiliar stars. The Zell had made a serious mistake. They had tried to stop the humans from reaching the Confederation, but all they had done was make Jack more determined than ever. "They think they've beaten us," he said quietly, "but they've just started a fight they're going to regret." "All hands, this is your captain speaking." Jack's voice echoed through the ship's communication system. "As you know, our ship has been sabotaged. We are stranded in unknown space. The BrainZone navigation system is completely destroyed. Many other systems are damaged. This was a deliberate attack by elements of the Zell species from the Vox Confederation." He paused, letting the information sink in for his crew. "But we are not beaten. I am declaring emergency protocols effective immediately. All non-essential systems will be shut down to save power. Chief Rodriguez will lead repair teams. Officer Green will head security. We will survive this, and we will find a way home." When he finished speaking, Jack turned to his senior officers who had gathered on the bridge. "How bad is it really?" he asked Maria. The chief engineer's face was grim. "The BrainZone system is beyond repair with what we have on board. Life support is stable for now, but we've lost 40% of our power generation capability. Food production systems are working, but at reduced capacity. We have maybe 3 months of supplies at current consumption rates." "And our location?" Jack asked, turning to Parker. "Unknown, sir. Based on our last confirmed position and our speed before dropping out of FTL, we could be anywhere in a region covering thousands of light years. Without the BrainZone, our backup navigation systems can only give us a rough estimate." Jack nodded slowly. "Weapons and defenses. Defensive shields are at 60% capacity," reported the security chief. "Weapons systems are mostly functional, but targeting systems were affected by the sabotage. So we're lost, crippled, but not completely helpless," Jack summarized. "Our first priority is survival. Then we find a way to navigate home, or at least to a known location." Lisa Green was in the ship's lab, studying the alien code they had found in the maintenance robots. As the science officer, she had the most experience with alien technology. "This is strange," she muttered. Tom Lee looked up from the robot he was examining. What is it? This code. It's not just meant to disable our systems. Lisa pointed to a section on her screen. See this part? It's designed to send out a signal. A beacon. Tom frowned. A beacon? You mean they wanted to track us? Or find us after they stranded us? Lisa suddenly looked worried. Computer, scan for any unauthorized transmissions from the ship. The computer's voice responded after a moment. One unauthorized transmission detected. Low-frequency signal broadcasting from maintenance section 12B. Lisa and Tom looked at each other in alarm. They wanted us to be lost, Tom said slowly, so they could find us later, when we're helpless. Captain to the bridge, emergency. Parker's voice came through Jack's communicator. Jack ran from the mess hall where he'd been meeting with department heads. When he reached the bridge, Parker was hunched over the sensor station. What is it? 3 ships, sir. Approaching fast. They almost didn't show up on our sensors. They're using some kind of stealth technology. Jack looked at the main screen where 3 red dots were moving toward the center. Their ship. How long until they reach us? 30 minutes, sir. Jack pressed his communicator. Green Lee. Report to the bridge immediately. Rodriguez, I need you to shut down any outgoing signals from the ship. We have company coming. When Lisa and Tom arrived, they quickly explained about the beacon they had discovered. That explains how they found us so quickly, Jack said. Options. We could try to run, but with our damaged engines, we wouldn't get far, Maria said. Fight, suggested the weapons officer. Jack shook his head. Against 3 ships, with our targeting systems compromised. Not a good option either. Sir, Parker called out. They're hailing us. Jack straightened his uniform. Put them on screen. The main screen flickered, and an alien face appeared. The Zell had gray-blue skin, 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern, and no visible nose. Instead, small breathing slits pulsed on the sides of its face. Human vessel. The alien spoke in slightly accented English. I am Commander Drav of the Zell Purity Front. Your presence in space is a contamination that must be controlled. Your technology advances too quickly. You are dangerous. We came in peace, Jack replied firmly. Your actions are against the laws of your own confederation. Trav made a dismissive gesture with one of his 4 arms. The Confederation is weak. They do not see the threat you pose. We do. What do you want from us? Jack asked, trying to buy time. Your ship contains valuable data about human technology. Surrender your vessel and all its information. Do this, and your crew will be allowed to live in containment. Resist, and you will be destroyed. We need time to consider, Jack said. You have 3 hours, Drav replied, and the screen went dark. Containment. He means prison, or worse, Maria said angrily after the transmission ended. Jack nodded. And they'll take everything we know about Earth's defenses and technology. That's not happening. He turned to his officers. I'm implementing Protocol Phoenix. The senior officers exchanged looks of surprise. Sir, that's never been tested outside of simulations, Maria warned. We don't have a choice, Jack replied. The BrainZone is destroyed, but we still have the ship's backup computers, and we have something the Zell don't expect. Our neural implants. All deep space personnel had neural implants, small computers connected directly to their brains. The implants helped them process information faster and communicate more efficiently. They were standard equipment, not particularly advanced. You want to connect our neural implants to the ship's systems? Tom asked. Create a human-computer interface network. Exactly, Jack said. The Phoenix Protocol was created for exactly this kind of emergency. When all else fails, use human ingenuity. The Zell destroyed our navigation computer, so we'll become the navigation computer. It's extremely dangerous, Lisa pointed out. The neural feedback could cause brain damage. And we've never connected multiple implants together like this. We have 3 hours to make it work, Jack said firmly. Or we all become prisoners, if the Zell even keep their word. Maria stood up. I'll start modifying the neural interface connections in Medical Bay. I'll work on the software integration, Tom added. And I'll keep the Zell talking, Jack said. Make them think we're preparing to surrender while we implement Phoenix. As his team hurried to their tasks, Jack looked out at the 3 alien ships visible now on the screen. They were sleek, predatory-looking vessels that had surrounded the Perseverance. They think they've won, he said quietly. They have no idea what humans can do when pushed into a corner. In the Medical Bay, Maria connected cables to access ports in her neural implant. Tom did the same, and they linked their systems to the ship's backup computer. Ready? Maria asked. Tom nodded nervously. Maria activated the connection, and both of them gasped as information flooded their minds. It was too much, overwhelming their brains with data. Cut it. Maria gasped, and Lisa quickly severed the connection. It's too much raw data, Tom said, his head pounding. We need to filter it somehow. Or distribute it, Maria said slowly, a new idea forming. What if we don't try to process everything at once? What if each person handles different systems? A network, Tom said, catching on. A human processing network. Maria smiled for the first time since the crisis began. The Zell may have destroyed the BrainZone, but they're about to find out that human brains working together are much more dangerous. Commander Drav, this is Captain Wilson again. Jack sat in his chair on the bridge, looking calm despite the crisis. We're preparing to transfer our data as requested. However, our computer systems were damaged in your attack. We need more time to compile everything. The Zell commander's 4 eyes narrowed with suspicion. You have already been given 3 hours. How much more time do you require? Another 2 hours should be sufficient, Jack replied smoothly. We want to ensure all the technical data you requested is complete. Drav made a sound like stones grinding together. The Zell version of frustrated agreement. 2 hours. No more delays, human. My gunners are eager to test their weapons on your hull if you are not complying. When the screen went dark, Parker turned to Jack. Do you think he believes us, sir? He believes we're stalling, but he also wants our technology intact. Jack stood up. That gives us exactly 2 hours to make Protocol Phoenix work. Let's check on our progress. In the Medical Bay, activity was frantic. Crew members were setting up equipment while Maria and Tom refined their approach after the first failed attempt. Captain, Maria greeted Jack as he entered. We've made progress. She pointed to a diagram on her tablet. Instead of trying to process all the ship's data through 1 or 2 brains, we're creating a network. Each person will handle specific systems they're already familiar with. Like distributed computing, Jack said, understanding immediately. Exactly, Tom confirmed. I'll handle power systems. Rodriguez will manage propulsion. Green will coordinate sensors. And you, sir? I'll be the primary node, Jack finished. The central processor that brings it all together. Maria nodded. It's still extremely risky. The neural feedback could cause seizures, brain damage, or worse. But we've modified the interface to include safety cutoffs. Lisa Green entered the Medical Bay, carrying a small device. I've been studying the Zell technology from the Sabotaged robots. There's something interesting about them, and about us. She set the device on a nearby table. The Zell brain is highly structured and specialized. Each part does one job perfectly. It's why they're excellent engineers. But they can't easily adapt to new situations. Unlike humans, Jack said. Exactly, Lisa continued. Human brains are messy. We have areas that specialize, but our whole brain can reorganize itself when needed. We can make unexpected connections, see patterns, and adapt quickly. It's why the Zell fear us. Tom looked up from his work. You're saying our messy brains might actually be better at creating this neural network than their more structured minds would be. That's my theory, Lisa confirmed, and it gives us an advantage they won't expect. 1 hour later, the medical bay had been transformed into the nerve center of Protocol Phoenix. 10 crew members, including all the senior officers, lay on medical beds with cables connecting their neural implants to the ship's systems. Remember, Maria instructed, focus only on your assigned systems. Don't try to process everything. Let your training guide you, and trust the network to bring it all together. Jack felt sweat on his forehead as he prepared to become the primary node. As captain, he had the most advanced neural implant and the most comprehensive understanding of all ship systems. "Ready, sir?" asked the medical officer who would monitor their vital signs. Jack nodded. "Activate the network." This time, when the data began flowing, it was different. Instead of a chaotic flood overwhelming their minds, each person received information about the systems they knew best. Jack, as the primary node, felt connections forming, like new neural pathways extending from his mind throughout the ship. He gasped. He could feel the perseverance around him, not just intellectually understand it, but feel it as if the ship were an extension of his own body. The hull was his skin, the sensors his eyes and ears, the engines his muscles. "It's working," he said, his voice filled with wonder. "I can feel the ship." Around him, the other crew members were having similar experiences with their assigned systems. Maria had become one with the propulsion systems, feeling every fluctuation in the engines. Tom could sense power flowing through the grid like blood in veins. Lysa was suddenly aware of every signal the sensors detected, processing information faster than any computer. "This is incredible," Maria whispered. "I don't just know how the engines work. I am the engines." "Power efficiency has increased by 30%, Tom reported, his eyes closed as he directed energy through the ship's systems with thought alone. "I can optimize routes that the automated systems never saw." Lisa opened her eyes wide. "Captain, I'm detecting something about the Zell ships. Their stealth technology. It creates a pattern. A weakness." Jack mentally reached out to see what Lisa was detecting. Through their shared neural network, he could access her insights directly. The Zell stealth systems operated on a shifting frequency that created a tiny opening in their defenses every 4.3 seconds. "No computer would see that pattern," Jack said. "It's too subtle, too random. But our human minds can spot it." The medical officer checked their vital signs. "Everyone is stable, but your brain activity is off the charts." "I've never seen neural patterns like this." Jack smiled. "That's because what we're doing has never been done before. We've created something beyond the BrainZone system. We've created a true human-machine symbiosis." On the bridge, the crew members not connected to the Phoenix network watched in amazement as systems throughout the ship began operating more efficiently than ever before. Lights that had been dim due to power conservation suddenly brightened. Environmental controls perfectly adjusted to optimal levels. Damaged systems found workarounds that no computer had calculated. "Sir," called the communications officer, "Commander Drav is hailing us again." Through the neural network, Jack could answer without physically being on the bridge. His voice came through the ship's communication system. "Put him through." Drav appeared on screen, his alien features showing impatience. "Your time is up, humans. Begin transmitting your data and prepare to be boarded." Jack, still connected to the network in the medical bay, replied calmly. "I'm afraid there's been a change of plans, Commander. We will not be surrendering today." The Zell commander's 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of anger. "Then you have chosen destruction. Your primitive ship cannot match one of our vessels, let alone 3. "Perhaps," Jack replied, "but you've made one critical mistake. You assumed that by destroying our BrainZone navigation system, you crippled us beyond recovery." "Your point, human," Drav growled. Jack smiled, feeling the ship respond to his thoughts, feeling the insights of his crew flowing through the neural network they had created together. "Your sabotage didn't weaken us, Commander Drav. It forced us to adapt, to upgrade. And now you're about to face something you've never encountered before." Through the neural network, Jack sent a single command to all connected crew members: prepare for counterattack. He could feel their collective determination flowing back to him, strengthening the connection. The Perseverance was no longer just a ship. It had become an extension of human consciousness, guided by human intuition and creativity. And the Zell had no idea what was coming. Commander Drav's face twisted with rage on the view screen. "You dare to defy us? Your primitive ship stands no chance against our fleet." Jack didn't respond with words. Instead, through the neural network, which the crew had started calling Mesh, he initiated the first phase of their counterattack. The Perseverance suddenly powered up, its engines glowing with renewed energy as Tom redirected power through pathways no computer would have considered safe. The lights on the bridge dimmed momentarily as energy flowed to the weapons and shield systems. "They're powering weapons," shouted one of Drav's officers in the background. Drav looked shocked. "Impossible. The Sabotaged destroyed their main computer systems." Jack smiled. Through mind mesh, he could feel every part of the ship responding to the collective will of the connected crew members. The sensation was unlike anything he had ever experienced. It was as if the Perseverance had become a living extension of himself and his team. "Target the lead ship," Jack commanded mentally. He didn't need to speak aloud. His thoughts traveled through the neural network to the weapons systems, where a crew member named Ryan was connected. Ryan, who had been the ship's best marksman even before mind mesh, could now feel the weapons as if they were his own limbs. He sensed the perfect moment in the Zell ship's stealth cycle, the 4.3-second mark when their shields fluctuated, and fired. 3 precisely timed energy pulses shot from the Perseverance and struck the first Zell ship exactly where its shield protection wavered. The alien vessel shuddered as its engines went dark. "Direct hit," called out Parker from the bridge, amazed by the accuracy no automated targeting system could have achieved. On the view screen, Drav's 4 eyes widened in disbelief. "All ships, open fire," he commanded. The second Zell ship began moving to a better attack position. Through the mind mesh, Maria felt the Perseverance's engines as if they were her own muscles. She pushed them beyond their designed limits, knowing exactly how far she could go without causing damage. The human ship moved with unexpected speed and grace, avoiding the incoming fire from the Zell vessels. Maneuvers that should have been impossible with their damaged systems were now executed perfectly as Maria's consciousness guided the propulsion systems. "How are they doing this?" came a panicked cry from one of Drav's officers. "Their movements don't match any known human ship patterns." Jack mentally reached out to Lisa, who was integrated with the sensor systems. "Can we use the tractor beams?" Lisa's response came not in words but in pure data, the exact specifications needed to optimize the tractor beams for the Zell ship's mass. Jack passed this information through the mind mesh to the appropriate systems. As the second Zell ship tried to retreat, powerful tractor beams shot out from the Perseverance, grabbing the alien vessel like a giant hand. The beams operated at 150% of their normal capacity, carefully calibrated by the human minds controlling them. "They've caught the Crimson Wing," shouted a Zell officer to Drav. "Our engines can't break free." Drav's flagship, seeing both sister ships disabled, opened fire with its full weapons array. A barrage of energy blasts and projectiles headed toward the Perseverance. In normal circumstances, the human ship would have been destroyed. But now, with the mind mesh operating, Jack could see the attack pattern before it even fully developed. The neural network processed the trajectories faster than any computer. Evasive action, Jack thought, and the ship responded instantly. The Perseverance moved in ways that defied conventional spaceflight tactics, twisting and spinning to avoid the incoming fire. Some shots still hit, but Tom was ready. Through his connection to the power systems, he diverted energy to reinforce the shields exactly where and when they were needed. He could feel the impacts and responded with perfect timing, minimizing damage. Impossible. Drav raged as his attacks failed to destroy the human vessel. "No ship can move like that. No computer can calculate those patterns. That's because we're not using a computer, Jack replied calmly. We're using something far more powerful, human intuition linked directly to our ship. Through the mind mesh, Lisa had been scanning the flagship intensively. Her consciousness, merged with the sensor systems, detected subtle energy fluctuations that revealed the ship's internal layout. I found their command center, she communicated to Jack through the neural link. A detailed image formed in Jack's mind. The exact location of Drav's bridge, protected by multiple shield layers, but with one specific point of vulnerability. Jack shared this information with Ryan, who controlled the weapons. Ryan focused the ship's remaining energy weapons on that single point. The shot was perfectly timed to the millisecond, hitting exactly when the flagship's shields cycled to their weakest phase. The beam cut through multiple decks before striking just outside the Zell command center. On the view screen, Drav was thrown from his command chair as his ship rocked violently. Alarms blared in the background, and emergency lights flashed. Engineering reports critical damage. A Zell officer shouted, "Main power failing. Weapons offline." Drav pulled himself up, his alien features twisted with rage and disbelief. "What have you done? This is impossible." "You should have studied humans more carefully before attacking us," Jack replied. "We're not just good with technology, Commander. Our greatest strength is adaptation. When you destroy our BrainZone system, you forced us to create something better." Through the mind mesh, Jack could feel his crew's exhaustion. Maintaining the neural connection was draining, and some were approaching their limits. "We need to end this now," Maria communicated, her thoughts tinged with fatigue. Jack agreed. "Commander Drav, all 3 of your ships are disabled. Your flagship's weapons are offline. Your engines are failing. You have 2 choices: surrender, or we will be forced to take more permanent action." Drav's 4 eyes blinked rapidly as he consulted with his officers off-screen. Finally, his shoulders slumped in defeat. "We accept your terms, Captain Wilson. The Zell Purity Front surrenders." "A wise decision," Jack replied. "Prepare to be boarded. We'll be taking control of your vessels." When the transmission ended, cheers erupted across the Perseverance. In the medical bay, the connected crew members shared their triumph through the mind mesh, a wave of collective joy and relief that flowed through their linked minds. "We did it," Maria said, her physical voice weak, but her mental presence in the network still strong. "We beat them with their own technology." "No," Jack corrected her. "We beat them with human ingenuity. They gave us their best shot, destroy our most advanced system, and we still came out stronger." Through the mind mesh, Jack could feel the agreement of his crew. They had faced impossible odds and not only survived but triumphed. The Zell had severely underestimated humanity's greatest strength, the ability to adapt and overcome. "Prepare boarding parties," Jack ordered as the mind mesh maintained their connection to the ship. "Let's see what other secrets the Zell have been keeping from us." The boarding of the Zell ships went smoothly. Most of the alien crew surrendered without resistance when they saw the determined human teams equipped with weapons and neural implants still glowing from the mind mesh connection. Jack led the main boarding party onto Drav's flagship. Even damaged, the alien vessel was impressive, larger than the Perseverance with technology that seemed both familiar and strange. "Captain," called Maria through the communicator, "you need to see this." Jack followed her directions to what appeared to be the ship's main computer core, a room filled with pulsing blue crystals arranged in complex patterns. "Their computer systems are crystal-based," Maria explained, her engineer's eyes bright with interest. "Much more advanced than what they let the Confederation know about." "So the Zell have been hiding their true technological level," Jack said, understanding the implications. "They pretend to share everything with the Confederation while keeping the best for themselves." Tom entered the room, escorting Commander Drav. The Zell leader looked defeated, his 4 arms bound, his gray-blue skin pale with stress. "You've ruined everything," Drav said bitterly. Centuries of careful planning, undone by primitive humans who shouldn't even be in space yet. Why? Jack asked simply. Why sabotage our ship? Why try to prevent us from meeting the Confederation? Drav's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. Because you humans are dangerous. Our intelligence analyzed your species' development rate. You achieved in 200 years what took most species millennia. From primitive flight to space travel in a single century. From basic computers to the BrainZone in less than 80 years. The Zell commander looked around at the humans. Our projections showed that if you joined the Confederation, within 50 years you would surpass all other species technologically. Within 100 you would dominate the galaxy. So you decided to stop us, Jack said. Keep us isolated. Prevent our advancement. The Purity Front was formed to protect the established order, Drav confirmed. Other factions in the Confederation wanted to welcome you, study you. We knew that was foolish. You needed to be contained. Jack laughed softly. Your plan backfired spectacularly, Commander. By sabotaging our BrainZone, you forced us to develop the Mind Mesh, a system far more advanced than anything we would have created otherwise. Drav's alien features showed what might have been despair. The very thing we feared most, humans surpassing us. And we caused it to happen. While the boarding teams secured the Zell ships, Lisa made a critical discovery in the flagship's communication center. Captain, she called to Jack, I've accessed their long-range communication system. It's intact and more powerful than anything on the Perseverance. We can contact both Earth and the Confederation from here. Jack joined her, examining the alien technology. Can you figure out how to use it? Lisa nodded. With the knowledge we gained from the Mind Mesh, I already understand the basic principles. It uses quantum entanglement, similar to theories our scientists have been developing but never fully implemented. Make the call, Jack ordered. Let's tell both our people and the Confederation what happened here. The response came faster than expected. Within hours, the quantum communication system activated, showing a split screen. On one side was Admiral Peter Hayes from Earth Command. On the other was a green-skinned alien with delicate features that Jack recognized as a Miri, one of the founding species of the Vox Confederation. Captain Wilson. Admiral Hayes looked relieved. We feared you were lost. Your scheduled reports stopped coming 3 days ago. We had some unexpected complications. Admiral, Jack replied with a slight smile. But the situation is now under control. He turned to the Miri. I believe we haven't been formally introduced. I am High Counselor Tellara of the Vox Confederation. The green-skinned alien said. We were concerned when you did not arrive for the scheduled diplomatic meeting. Now I see you have encountered the Zell Purity Front. Jack nodded. They sabotaged our ship to prevent the meeting. They've been operating against the Confederation's wishes, it seems. Talara's expression was hard to read, but her voice carried clear disapproval. The Purity Front is a radical faction not sanctioned by the Confederation Council. Their actions are criminal under our laws. We have been hunting them for some time. Jack gestured to the captured Zell ships visible through the viewport behind him. Well, we found them for you. Commander Drav and his crew are in custody, along with 3 ships full of evidence. 2 weeks later, the Perseverance approached the Confederation's diplomatic station, escorted by an honor guard of official Confederation vessels. The human ship had been repaired using technology from the captured Zell vessels, though the crew had decided to keep the Mind Mesh system rather than rebuild the BrainZone. Jack stood on the bridge, watching as the massive space station came into view. It was a spectacular structure, a wheel-shaped habitat with sections built to accommodate all 7 species of the Confederation. Nervous, sir? Parker asked from his station. A little, Jack admitted. This isn't exactly how I imagined our first official contact would go. I think it's better, Maria said, joining them on the bridge. Instead of arriving as newcomers begging for recognition, we've proven our worth. The Confederation now knows exactly what humans are capable of. The communication system activated, showing High Counselor Tillara. Captain Wilson, the full council awaits your arrival. There is much interest in meeting the humans who defeated the Purity Front, and in learning about this mind mesh technology you've developed. We look forward to sharing our knowledge, Jack replied diplomatically. Though I should point out that we have the Zell to thank for mind mesh. If they hadn't destroyed our original system, we never would have created it. Tilara's alien features formed what might have been a smile. A valuable lesson for all species, Captain. Sometimes our greatest innovations come from our most desperate moments. She paused. The Council has already voted on your species' admission to the Confederation. It will be announced after the formal meetings. That's unexpected, Jack said, surprised by the speed of their decision. May I ask the result? Unanimous approval, Tillara replied. Even the mainstream Zell representatives voted in favor. Your handling of the Purity Front demonstrated both your species' capabilities and your restraint. You could have destroyed those ships, but you chose to capture them instead. When the communication ended, cheers erupted across the bridge. We did it, Maria said, squeezing Jack's shoulder. Not just the diplomatic mission, but something much more important. We've shown the galaxy what humans are truly capable of. Jack nodded, looking out at the stars and the waiting station. And this is just the beginning. The mind mesh system will revolutionize how we interact with our technology. It's beyond anything the BrainZone could have achieved. He smiled at his crew, feeling proud of what they had accomplished together. The Zell Purity Front was right about one thing. Humans are advancing faster than any other species, but they were wrong about containing us. As the Perseverance docked at the Confederation station, Jack couldn't help but feel that this was a defining moment for humanity. They had faced sabotage, been stranded in unknown space, and confronted an enemy determined to stop their progress. And instead of being defeated, they had emerged stronger than ever. The aliens had sabotaged the human ship, but humans had upgraded it beyond BrainZone, creating something new that would change the course of galactic history.